Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Monday's here. Thanksgiving week is here. Exciting stuff. So before we dive into the Monday market report for the week ending November 21st, 2021, I wanted to take this little bit of opportunity to wish each and every single one of you a fantastic, beautiful week with friends and family. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving, of course. Be safe out there. That's always a huge plus. And yeah, don't hate, designate, right? So if you're gonna do a little bit of drinking, you guys know what to do. Grab yourself an Uber or Lyft. A few weeks ago, I had never really told anyone this, but me and my wife were driving home from the airport from our Hawaii trip, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. We witnessed a car crash, and the guy was obviously a little bit intoxicated, so much so that he thought he just had a flat tire. And as luck would have it, well, his entire front end of his car was smashed. Fortunately, he was not hurt. It was only a single vehicle accident, but you know, we are in the holidays, and with that comes extra amount of precaution. Just be safe, guys, whatever you decide to do, but most importantly, have fun with friends and family. And yeah, I'm thankful for you guys. So let's go ahead and move on to the Monday market report, where we take a look at the most relevant post 1900 modern coins, all graded, of course, that have sold for this past week. And there's a big emphasis on both nickels and half dollars out of all things. A pretty substantial half dollar, most specifically Walking Liberty half dollar registry set, was sold this week. I think it was half of the set was sold this week. And you're going to find that these are some of the finest graded examples that exist out there today. And the overall ending dollar values of some of these coins are will leave you in just sheer amazement. But also Jefferson nickels. Wow, there's a few dates out there that aren't particularly rare. They may be a little bit older, 1950s, you know. But there are a few of these nickels that have sold, and apparently they're quite scarce for the grade. So something for you guys to keep in mind. Maybe if you had a few of these and they look pretty good, you might want to consider moving them, considering that these particular coins that we're going to talk about today have really superseded what the overall expectations would be for such coins. I think a lot of you will agree with me that the modern coin market is just a crazy concept in itself. I mean, where else can you find a multi-million minted coin that you could grade and sell for 10K? You know, and a lot of these coins can be found today with some searching. Of course, you know, there is a huge emphasis as well in the registry set market, where a lot of the coins that sell for these big, huge price tags certainly fit into there. So a lot of these registry set participants certainly have deep pockets, and that's well reflected in today's report. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. All of the listings this week, of course, is by greatcollections.com. If you're looking to buy that marquee piece for your collection, or possibly if you're looking to sell some nice coins in your collection, Great Collections probably is one of the better auction houses to date. So go ahead and check them out, greatcollections.com. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the first coin of the week, and it's going to be a 1978S Lincoln Memorial Cent. This is, of course, the proof struck example. Take a look at this image, strong and clear. This is going to be the beacon of perfection, and it is a proof 70 red. So 70 is the highest numerical grade you can score on a coin, and it is as tough as it sounds, especially for much more modern type of coins that aren't bullion. You're going to find that the proof 70 grade is a rarity. And this one right here, even though it's a proof strike, I mean, it's quite tough to find 70s in proof coins, especially coming from the 60s, 70s, and there are a few dates in the 80s where a proof 70 grade is just one of those anomalies that you don't hear about that often. Deep cameo, so it's got the beautiful, just strong frosting on the devices. This one sold for $1,856.91. Beautiful coin, just stunning. If you're looking for a high-end proof coin, this might be the one for you. The next one that we have here is one of the highest graded 1970S doubled die obverses. Of course, this one is probably on par to the 69S in terms of rarity, although not as strong in the doubling department. It is quite significant. It's a top 5 modern double die rarity, in my estimation. This one right here is a mid-state 65 red, where we've seen a few 64s on the market here in the past 12 months. It's being kind of like the highest graded example. The 65 right here is a good looking coin. It features some of that good old regular white haze, which can be a little bit of grease on there. For those of you that hunt through BU rolls of Lincoln cents, like the legit period correct type BU rolls, you'll find that a lot of those coins have a little skim of grease on them. And that's probably a good thing because it helps preserve the overall appearance of the coin. They do appear a little bit milky white on this example, which is common, and that's normal. But the FS101 Cherry Picker's Guide variety is one of the most scarcest varieties that you could find in modern Lincoln cents. This particular example sold for $7,880.62. Coming up next is a coin that is, in this grade, worth as much as a San Francisco minted key date. Comparison-wise, there's really no comparison. The 31S is one of the major key dates of the series. Coins as low as VFXF, you're going to have to spend about $60, $70 just to own one. But when it comes to higher end grades of any other date around it and mint mark, they can be just as tough as well. We have a 31D right here, which is quite tough in mint state full red grades. This one scored a 65 red, and it sold for $1,366.88. And this is one of our highlight coins from the Sunset collection. They are in week number 166 of this just enormous consignment. And same goes here too as well. When we talk about key dates, another key date that we're synonymous in knowing about is the 14D. However, we have a San Francisco 1914 right here. It's in pretty nice shape. It's not full red. It's actually graded out as 63 red-brown. But you would figure for a coin like this, a grade in this grade, that it wouldn't even come close to a 14D of any type. However, this example, probably because it's either going to be a collector's coin or possibly kind of like a more lower end registry set coin, did sell for $1,387.12. This one right here, I love these type of coins because they could factor into being just a really good typeset coin, or if you really are into the registry set game, this would be an acceptable example. There's just something about red browns that look like this that gives it kind of like that overall eye appeal that you're looking for in a coin that's not perfect. And then finally, we actually broke the rules a little bit here this week and highlighted a coin that fell just 1 year outside of the 1900 and up modern coin prerequisite, and that's an 1899 Indian head cent. Now, okay, before you go throwing rocks at the screen and saying, what's going on here? The reason why that this coin is here, and it's unfortunate that it fell outside of the standard 1900 and up modern age, is that this is a very high mintage date. 1899 is not rare as a date itself. However, we got to keep in mind that full red examples of any modern, I'm not going to say modern, but later dated Indian head cent from about, 1888 or 1887, somewhere around there. That's when they're really plentiful. All the way up to 1909. Full red examples, especially 65 and up, are quite desirable. They're quite expensive. And in a way, they're a little bit uncommon to find. However, this one right here just pretty much taps out the very ceiling of this particular coin at a Mint State 67 red, which is just an incredible grade for a high mintage Indian head cent. But if you do come across something like this in an old collection or at a coin shop, and maybe they're asking a few $100 for it, keep in mind in the back of your head, if it's really nice and red, you might have a really nice prospect coin, something that you could possibly send out to PCGS or NGC, in the hopes that, you know, if it graded out like a 64 or 65 and up, then you will have made money. So it's just another opportunity to recognize the full red conversation when it comes to these Indian head cents. But perspective-wise, this one sold for $6,475.50, which it sounds like a lot of money because it is a lot of money. But it is, of course, one of the top-tier grades that you can find in these. All right, so we are going to talk about nickels. Nickels have been huge this week. All right, as you can see, the few pennies that we talked about were just okay. Aside from the 70S and the 1899, a lot of the coins sold for under $2,000. So nickels certainly took over the crown for this week, starting out with this 1954. This is a Philadelphia struck nickel. It graded out Mint State 66 full steps. Just a really tough grade to find just a decent strike on it. I mean, just judging from the obverse of the coin, you know, luster is a huge issue on these 1950s nickels, and strike. All right, this obverse strike is very mushy, while the reverse strike looks pretty decent. You know, the tailing signs of these coins is going to be the periphery letters. How mushy are they? You know, how much do they meld into the actual rim? You know, those are a lot of things you have to ask yourself. This one right here, again, tailored for a registry set, sold for $1,054.35. Now we're getting into some heavy-hitting coins. These are a couple of 1951 nickels that you wouldn't think would be the most difficult coins to find. All right, there are a number of them available out there with a pretty nice strike. But how often do you come across one with eye appeal and just a high-grade pedigree? Mint State 67 full steps is what I consider to be a top-end, top-flight grade for these coins. Once you get past 51, again, you have to deal with the strike issues that you see on the balance of the other 1950s nickels. However, this one here is beautiful. It's got that beautiful kind of goldish rose toning on the reverse that people love. And then, you know, the obverse looks pretty nice as well with some light pastel type toning as well. This one sold for $10,238.49. This is one of our highlight coins of the week, along with this one as well. Now, we all see why this one is on the list, obviously. It's a 51D. Sure, it's not a 50D. Believe it or not, this coin here that you see on screen is actually way more scarce than a 50D, even though, you know, the purist coin collectors will say, well, key day-wise, the 50D is certainly up there. But when you get to condition rarity and overall eye appeal, that's where the conversation takes a right-hand turn. This one right here, of course, can't ignore the grade. Mint State 67 plus, full steps. This is what looks and appears to be an old album toner. You know, like this one was packed in an old Whitman bookshelf album or something like that. Maybe a library of coins if they did have one for Jefferson nickels. But let's not ignore the toning. All right, this one just grew in an environment that was conducive to these colors. And because of that, this example sold for $10,012.50. There is real money to be made with eye appeal and just beautiful strikes. If you think it ends here with these two 51s, think again. We have a 4070 as well. Keep in mind that this reverse image, there's actually a scuff on the plastic of that holder, so that's what that is. 47D isn't going to knock your socks off. It doesn't have quite the eye appeal compared to the previous two examples, but this one is a really nice registry level mid-state 67 plus full steps. I mean, it's going to be a coin that if you were in the registry set game, you would need this coin. This one sold for $3,768.75. And then also 41D. This one has the standard smaller mint mark type. There is a large S for the 41S as well. Another just huge great coin, but this is probably more of a BU roll pullout than anything else. Mid-state 67 plus full steps. Again, just simply made for a registry set. They do not intend or plan on investing in these in part of a portfolio because, you know, as more examples come out in the same grade through these graders, that's obviously going to affect the pricing of all these other examples. This one right here sold for $8,550. Just a huge coin, you know. Again, 41S's with full steps aren't hard to find in mid-state 65 or somewhere thereabouts. But again, when you get to the top end grade level, that's where things begin to change. And we do have one Buffalo nickel, and we might as well stick to the commonality of the coins. The 1913 Type 1, okay, for those of you that don't know what the difference between Type 1 and Type 2 is, these nickels have a black diamond, the Buffalo, on a raised mound, all right? So the U.S. Mint at one point had decided, well, you know what, because 5 cents is on this raised part of the mound or, you know, relief area of the coin, that's going to be an area that's going to wear down quick. I've seen examples as low as like VF where 5 cents is pretty much obliterated. So because of that, they had created the Type 2 reverse. So it's simply just a design change where they took out the raised mound feature and, you know, put black diamond on a straight mound, all right, and recessed the 5 cents into this area a little bit better. So you'll see the defined line right above 5 cents where the mound begins on that design. But, you know, this is a very common coin. It grades up to mid-state 67 if you're looking for it. But how about mid-state 68? This is a fresh NGC graded example with a little bit of toning on both sides of the coin. So it really does have a lot of originality. This one sold for $5,625. And again, raw mid-state examples of this date and this type exist in pretty healthy numbers out there. Again, it was a coin that was widely hoarded for a while. Same with the 38D Buffalo nickels, the 50D Jefferson nickels. You know, there are certain dates where there's just a really huge population of mid-state grades because these are coins that people knew were going to be low minted. And as a result, they had hoarded them in great numbers when they were first released. All right, well, did you guys see that? We went from nickels all the way to quarters, which means we didn't have anything noteworthy in dimes to sell this week. So it was the dimes week off. So let's go ahead and take a look at some relevant quarters this week. How about an 82p? Yeah, this is a strange one right here. Now, early 80s quarters have suffered a little something that I like to call just bad quality, you know. And because of that, you know, there is a little bit of a heightened market awareness for 1980 to 1983 Washington quarters. So you might even lump 84 in there to a lesser extent. But these are coins that just suffered greatly from just horrible quality control. A lot of the strikes were very mushy, but you know, in 83 there wasn't a U.S. Mint set. So, you know, if you're looking for a raw mid-state 1983 P and D coin, it might set you back as high as $100. That's how much they are on the market. However, this coin right here, 82p, mid-state 68, of course, is a top-end registry set coin. I wouldn't do anything else with it other than that. And it sold for $3,888. Now, can you imagine if this was a PCGS graded 68? Man, that thing would be probably 10K or higher. That's how much people take seriously the Washington Quarter Series as a registry set. Here's the 54S. I mean, it's just a standard date, not particularly rare in mid-state condition. However, this one has the distinction of being a previous Brent Pogue collection piece. The Brent Pogue collection. It's just, he had one of the biggest collections of rarities. This is one of them here, PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus. It's our first CAC coin of the week, so it's CAC certified as well. And this one sold for $1,181.25. A piece of that, and just keep in mind, with provenance, all right, there is a little bit of an extra premium that goes into the previous, owners of the coin. Pogue collection pieces typically have run anywhere from 10 to 30% higher on the secondary market, but it also doesn't hurt that this is a top-end registry set coin. All right, more originality, more toning. I mean, this thing is pretty big, and it takes really good photos to really highlight exactly what we have here. But we have a 48D, not exactly a rarity in mid-state condition, but finding one with this level of toning can be a little bit of a chore, a real treasure hunt. But love it or hate it, there is an undeniable premium for toned coins in today's market, and this rings true with coins like this. It's a mid-state 67, which is pretty good. It's NGC graded as well, and this one realized $2,475. But not toned, how about Blast White Love? We have a 36D here. I believe this is the last quarter on the list before we hit up some really big half-dollar pieces. But this one right here, again, a registry set style coin. Don't buy it to have it as a type piece or an investor piece. That's not what these are made for. Registry sets have certainly buoyed the overall market for these. So it is a mid-state 67, so that's kind of like the standard grade for a high-end coin would follow. This particular example right here sold for $2,718. All right, you guys ready? Because this is big. Walking Liberty half freaking dollars. We got 3 of them, but it's not all. This is just 3 along the line of like 15 coins from the the Semper Fi collection, and it's the #1 highest rated CAC approved PCGS registry. Got finally dissolved on Great Collections. I think they're splitting it up, I think between like 2 weeks, or maybe they were all sold this week, but I didn't see all the dates represented for this week. So they probably broke it up in a few weeks. But a lot of these are high-end toners. They're just mega superstar, rock star status coins. And it doesn't matter what date. It could be some of the rarest dates, like a 21 or a 1919. Or it could be later date, just common fodder, like a 47D. Now, 47 is the final date of the Walking Liberty half-dollar series. Mid-state examples of, especially D and S, 46s and 47s are pricey. Surprisingly, they are quite pricey, even in Blast White type of appearance. Now, the color is just dynamite. I would love to see this in the true PCGS, photographic true views is what they call it. And I mean, these images look great by themselves, but this is such a huge registry set that it's just, it doesn't quite break my heart to see it finally just being sold, because probably this individual that owns the Semper Fi collection was probably ready to move on from it. Maybe they're at a point in their life where like, I can't really take it with me to the grave type scenario. But it's just, man, it's such beautiful coins. So this is a very common date right here. And it's sold, I mean, not exactly a drop in the bucket at $20,986.88. This is just the beginning, and there are a ton of other coins that actually sold for more than this one, but the big reason why I wanted to add this one in here was because of the toned color and because it's the final date of the series. I mean, yeah, it's definitely important to really bring this up. Now we're getting into the other last final two coins that I wanted to highlight. Now, 1934 isn't going to raise the proverbial skirt, right? Marilyn Monroe probably wouldn't get excited in terms of the date, no sewer grader action here, but this is just a beautiful coin. 34 is 34. It's neither common or rare. It's kind of like right in the middle. Mid-state examples will set you back a few $100 just for like a 64 or 65. But this one right here is a 68, and this is also part of the Semper Fi collection. This one, ladies and gentlemen, sold for $48,375, which is enough to buy just about anything you want to. It's hard to make the comparison to anything out there, but it's 48 grand. It's a lot of money. But if you think this is the big one of the week, nope. We got the final most expensive coin from this week's Semper Fi collection to sell on Great Collections, and that's the 16S. For 1916, the mint marks were all on the obverse underneath the motto, "In God We Trust," whereas in 1917, you had the choice of finding one on the reverse or the obverse. So, a 1916 Walker in mint state condition is a top 10 coin for me. This is a coin that I've always wanted in my collection. However, if I wanted to get one, even like mint state 63 or 64, I'm going to have to cough up at least $1,000. And there's no guarantees that it's going to be just an absolute dynamite mint state example. However, look at this one. This is one that I'm willing to bet when it was found back in the day, it was a stunner. It was a surprising find, I would say. Has spent some time in a climate situation where you're able to get such pretty colors. It's not fully involved, but man, whatever toning is on this coin was enough to make it probably one of the most pleasing coins to stare at for a substantial amount of time. Mid-state 66, I mean, that's a great grade. Just shows you that even, coins of this caliber, can really hype up a huge bidding audience. CAC as well, as you would expect, sold for $55,125. Just the 34 and 16 alone exceeded $100,000. But based off of what I've seen from this week's Great Collection Semper Fi listings that sold yesterday on Sunday, there was probably easy $600,000 to $700,000 from the coins from that session that sold to Mr. Semper Fi himself. So I'm sure it took just many years, decades to put this together. It's amazing. It's a really amazing collection, and a lot of these pieces are either going to end up in investors' hands, or it's kind of hard to argue with how many people cannot afford this that are in the industry that typically do really well in coins. A lot of these are just super high-end bombs that will end up probably disappearing for a number of years. It's just amazing. But that's going to go ahead and do it. That was the final coin. That was exciting, breathtaking, and exhilarating all in one sentence. Or all in one show, rather. But that's going to go ahead and do it. I am still going to do a PCMR for Wednesday. That's the day before Thanksgiving. We will still have our live coin Q&A live stream show tonight. So please tune in, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern, and everybody else in between. On our live coin Q&A YouTube channel. Go ahead and check it out. We're always welcoming new folks. Go ahead and subscribe to that. And then you can take part in the chat. It's real awesome. But that's going to go ahead and do it. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. As always, like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content. Hit the dislike button if you don't. Would love to hear your thoughts. Did you have a favorite for this week? But all in all, I wish you guys a nice, safe and happy, healthy Thanksgiving week, and enjoy your Black Friday. Be safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. Coinaholics, let's go ahead and do it. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.